Hey guys, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. If you've been watching our videos, you may have seen one recently where we did a bit of inspection under a vehicle and stuff like that, and we talked about the pads we're replacing pads and rotors on this one, and I pointed out that they're very unevenly worn, and you can see at this side there's quite a bit of meat there left at that side, and at this side, that's the backing plate of the pad there. There's only, there's about 2 millimeters left anyway. Now, I'm not worried about being a bit rough with these because we're going to replace these pads and rotors, so I thought it's a good one to demonstrate why it's an important one if you're doing your own brakes, not to just think you're throwing a set of pads in. You've got to check these things out. Now, as I said, it is common for these calipers to wear the pads a bit unevenly, even when there's nothing wrong with the caliper. Couple of components in the caliper that you can have problems with in general. This is back to general information for a minute, not these cars. The piston, this has got one piston inside there. We've just pushed that back. What I did, I just gently, by doing it this way, you get to have a feel for what's normal and what's not, and we just gently put the screwdriver there and give it a bit of a twist. You can see the little mark there on the outside of the meat of the pad, and it started going back enough to get the screwdriver in, and then just gently lever like this on this angle till it got to there, and the piston went in as per normal. So now I know that there's nothing wrong with the piston. Then we try to grab the caliper. That's this part. It's what's called a floating caliper, a full floating caliper. It's basically this part is fixed to the vehicle, as is the bottom section, and these two bolts here, right, they are the slides. They continue on through into here, and this part of the caliper floats and slides in and out of this mounting section. So you've got a piston at one side, and as that piston comes out and push it on this side, because this is floating, this whole caliper body pulls back and spreads the load evenly between the two, or pretty close to even usually. But we've got a problem with the slides. They're probably not seized, but they could be. We don't know yet. We need to move the caliper. They could be, let's get a strong hand. You've got a hand, mate. If you can just really push on that hard with your hand, and let's see if we can get it to move at all. No, rock solid. So they are actually seized at the moment, to the wording of the mean seized, the meaning of the word. But when we undo these bolts, again, we'll continue the video on this because this is an interesting one, and hopefully we can help some people sort through this issue if you have it. And we wouldn't normally do this, but because there's not many places that can do things right, and people are forced to try and learn and sort out their own cars in a lot of circumstances, or try and find, there is people around that can do the job right. When it comes to brakes, it's a matter of life and death, so don't muck around. If you don't know what's going on here, just get a professional to do it. Just make sure you find a professional before you take it to someone you think's a professional, right? Anyway, we're gonna, once we undo these bolts, which if I remember correctly, I think they're 17 mils, it's been a while, 17s, twisting them, undoing them, will twist in here as well, and we're going to pull them out, we're going to inspect them, we're going to clean them, usually spraying a lot of things like, product like CRC, inox, whatever, may clean it out, clean the excess out, and then just using some proper grease. There's some different greases you can use. To be quite honest, it varies in braking systems. This is not a brake fluid area component, so in here it probably wouldn't matter too much. You want something that's going to sort of stay wet. I actually like lithium spray grease for this because obviously it's easier to spray it into that area. But you've got to be careful what you use because these rubbers, depending on some vehicles, again, general information, some vehicles don't like particular grease. These seals may go hard, start leaking, whatever. And once you do that, you can, it's a bit airtight, and these end ones start popping off as well, and that's fine if they come off because we're probably going to take them off anyway. A lot of places are going to sell you a new caliper or a full caliper changeover, overhaul, whatever, when this happens. We'll try and get some more. I don't know if this video is going to work out. It may be a short one and that's it. I'm sure there's some information that's helped you to know what to look for to see if you've got a problem here, if you're changing your pads. If it's possible, if we can capture it on video, undoing these, then we'll add it to this video. If we don't, thanks anyway, and if we do, well, fingers crossed. Let's see. Right, check this out, guys. I've decided we'll get the, sometimes you do the hard part first, and sometimes you do the easy part and come back to the hard part, and this time that's what we did. So we've got some nice brand new, look, I'm not saying which brand of pads and rotors you should or shouldn't use or whatever, but on this vehicle this time we've got some brand new, and you can go and get your slotted and drilled and all you like, but really on these vehicles, some people aren't going to like this. I've got slotted on our 120, but only because I got them cheap, you know what I mean? You don't need them. It's a waste of time. You just need a braking surface like that. Happy days, right? I'm not telling you RDAs are the best, but the ADAs are reasonable value for money, and they've got the black coating on them so they don't go rusty, so I like those. That's what we've used here. And Bendix pads. So let's go and have a look. This is the right hand front. So this is the passenger side. And these rotors generally come, because they've got the coating, they don't have the normal oil type protection. But what we do is a bit of brake cleaner once we all got it together and just give it a quick wipe. If you see any dirt and debris or anything we've touched, and get it off the surface there. But hat type rotors, right? I'll just give you a demonstration. Look, see, they just sit over the top. I'm gonna go and sort out that phone. What's going on? It was just another prank call. Bloody prank calls, I tell you. Put him on the block list. No, I'm just joking. It's all good. Now, when you're doing these rotors, you got to make sure you don't bend the backing plates. Leaning and pulling on those, they'll end up scraping. Underneath here, you can use a wire brush and clean up the surface. You know, your hub where your wheel bearing, that goes directly on top of your front hub wheel bearing assembly. You know those pair of front hubs we supply, straight over the top of those. So maybe pads and rotors and drive shafts and shockers and struts and everything you want to, and lower control arms. No, you don't want to do it all at once, because it's just going to get really costly. One thing at a time, as required, which usually isn't too much required on these cars. So there's the front one done, same deal, you know, new pads in there. Once you put the wheel on, that's what holds the rotor on, the wheel, right? Okay, let's go to the back. Okay, this one all done, same deal. Inside here you got your handbrake. We've talked about that in other videos, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. These can get a little bit stuck. Usually what's stuck is, see this surface here, right? Because it's a pretty tight fit, because the rotor's got to locate over this axle here, right? And be tight so that it's all square and everything's good, right? So you get a bit of rust, and that's why the black coating's good, so you don't get the rust. But the old ones, they get a bit of rust. That's got a bit of rust. You can see where they jam up, getting them off and stuff like that, where they scrape past. So what you do, again, clean up with a wire brush, spray a bit of CRC, whatever you want. There's different things you can do. Just have a think about it. To get the rotor off, obviously you got to take the whole bracket off, not just these caliper bolts here. You've got to take off, you know, the ones in behind. You know the ones. We're going to show you in a minute anyway, because we've done the easy one. This is what they're all going to look like in the end. A bit of a clean up before the wheel goes on, and a bit of fun over the other side. Let's see what's going to happen. All right, look at this dirty old one. What a rust bucket. Now you can actually see the original ones. They've got a black coating as well, and that's where the wheel's been covering it. But this is, again, Mackay, Queensland. Salt. You can see the salt spray, salt water. Maybe someone's been backing the boat in. This looks more recent, actually. So if you've been backing your boat in, you need to not park the car in the water. You don't want to get spray underneath the back of it. And if you do, and you must, then you need to take it. You need to take the vehicle home and just give it a wash underneath. When you wash the boat in the trailer room, give this a rinse off as well. So this could be a bit stuck. The problem we got at the moment, as described earlier in the video, the piston's fine. These slides, one or the other, if not both, are stuck at the moment. So what we're going to do now is put a socket and bar on and attempt to crack those loose to see, A, will it happen? You know, will it happen? Are they going to turn? So let's see. Yeah, they're going not too bad. That's right, let's try the other one, and then we'll get a little ratchet and move them back and forward a little bit and see what happens. Yeah, that one. See, when we say seized, it's only seized till it's not seized anymore. You know what I mean? So let's grab a ratchet, and that'll be quicker. What we've done, we've just decided to grab a spanner, right? And so now that's all we've done is crack that loose, right? That was tight before, right? The fact that that moves and comes loose like that tells us that whatever's going on inside there isn't too bad, because that is like really freely moving now. I can just, you know, just like a normal one, right? This one, let's check out this one, okay. The top one's your problem, because, oh yeah. Even though I'm, ooh baby, oh yeah. Even though I'm loosening that, right, it's still tight. So the top one is the one that's gonna be our problem. So we're gonna get that top one out. It's coming out, no problem, just working it back and forwards. We're gonna undo it. You know, just keep going mainly up, but up and down, just working it a bit. And we're going to need to clean up and lube that pin and what's in there. So we're going to get the rest of that, and then I'll show you what's in there. Okay, so they come out pretty easy, no big deal. It's just a matter of unscrewing it, and then once it was unscrewed, because your thread runs out once you get, you know, how many 10 turns, whatever it is, then of course you need some pressure. So we use that spanner, just push on it, you know, till it locks, and then just wiggle back and forward till it comes out. Now, this is more like what they normally look like. They get a bit dry. Normally there's a lump of grease on the end of it. You know, there's not too much. Look, Japan probably needs to put a little bit more grease on these, in my opinion, right? No, you don't want to smother them. You just need a little bit more than this. This is being a bit tight there. Come on, man. Prado luxury vehicle, premium price. We want a bit more grease. Now, this is your problem one. This is what they don't normally look like. This is what they might look like if they've been in salt water a lot. See, very dry. So what we need to do, if you've got a wire buff, you can run it over the wire buff and clean it up. If you haven't, you can get yourself or get a wire brush. You know what a wire brush is? We might show you one later in the video, or we might just clean these up because we don't need to show you easy stuff, right? So we're going to clean that up. Now, in the caliper, there's not much you can do. Like I said, someone might want to sell you a full caliper overhaul. There's not going to be much in there. What we're going to do before we lube this up, we're going to spray CRC, Inox, WD-40, what are the other products I'm forgetting? WD-40, CRC, what else? There's another one. Oh, RP7. But look, Inox is the favourite one, really. I like Inox, number one, but you pay for it. And CRC is probably my number two. We're going to spray that in the, and we're going to work this in and out. And this, you know, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to keep doing it. Basically, if this going in and out with some lube, whatever it doesn't clean out, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Blow it out with some compressed air, spray it some more, put some clean. You can spend as much time as you like, but there's no need to worry about it too much. And I can tell you that because we've been there, done that. We've been doing this for decades, and we know other people that have been doing it just as long and longer. Then once it's all clean and dry, we're going to put some nice amount of grease on there. Might even do something different and put the moly grease, the EP 3% general purpose NLGI2 lithium grease containing solid molybdenum disulfide. Anyway, something like that. Anyway, I probably got it right or wrong, or said it not quite right. Anyway, the point is lube, right? And a little bit of lube because you want lubrication in there, not water and corrosion like that. And you know what? Then it'll all go back together, same way as you normally would. Screw them in, put it back together, new rotors and all that. This is our dirty workbench where we do pads and rotors and knock stuff around. And this is the actual rear caliper bracket you need to take off if you're removing the rotors. This is what it looks like when it's been removed. And then sometimes you can just grab the rotor and give it a wiggle like that and come off. Look, you can see there's a bit of movement there. See that one? Look, I'm just trying to, well, you know, one-handed here, camera in one hand. Sorry about the wiggle, but what would be easier if I spun it around? Assistant, please, can you please do some spin? All right, so we just spun it a little bit, and I'm like on it, just giving. I'm doing it. This is one-handed, guys, and this is a rusty one. You can see the gap. I kind of need to, you know, you need to keep it square, not bring it out too much. But I'm doing it one-handed here, right, literally, and I'm not trying to get it off for the video. Otherwise, I just put on the tripod. I'm just mucking around here, right? I'm not even meant to be getting my hands dirty at the moment. Look at that. Where's the gloves? Anyway, so we're going to get this off. Let's get it off. Better with gloves. Thanks, mate. Gently. I'll just say at this point, sometimes the shoes can be sticking, but it's not going to be that in this case. Not usually is it the shoes. It won't spin now because there'll be a lip on the inside edge of the rotor. So the shoes are holding it a little bit. So you can get in the hole. It'll be easier to push it. So this is a bit of a tip if you do have this trouble. Just push it back in because that'll make it easier to turn. And you need to line up your hole here at the bottom so you can get your little adjuster and back the adjuster off. And which way, you ask me? Well, it depends what side of the car. It can get a bit confusing and I can't remember, but it's only going to turn one way. If it doesn't turn, that means it's tightened up. You turn it the other way, and then if it goes easy, a few turns and then give it a wiggle and it'll all come off, because that's what's happening at the moment. But I can tell you now, it's not holding by much. You could give it a gentle tap on the back corner here, just tap, 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 tap. Right, so let's do it. Let's just gently, we're not going to, don't smash it off. If your shoes are tight, you don't want to smash it off and wreck the shoes. Just a gentle tap, just to demonstrate. Now spin it a little bit, please. I just got my assistant here, you know, he's completely inexperienced. And no, it won't spin now because we've taken it. See, this is the thing, it will spin actually. We just need to, we'll use a screwdriver onto the inside of the studs and just gently give it a bit of a spin around. And then, yeah, just spin it and gently, and that's it. You've done this before, mate, you're good at that. That's it. So you can, my point is it can go either way. You can need to release the shoes, but it's very rare that you should need to do that, okay? Just a gentle tap, tap and a turn, tap, tap and a turn. Never force anything. Just realise what the resistance is. At the moment, we're just about out of resistance there. It's nearly off. And it's important to, yeah, try and keep it square. If you let it push it too much at one side, then you're going to cock it up and it'll sort of jam anyway. This video isn't really about how to get rotors off, but see all this added bit of information. It was more about how to fix up those caliper slides if you come across that. And I've given you the tip. There's your little holes you get in, so you can even see, you know, you can see bits of things going on inside there. Sorry about the noise, but that's what happens here. Right. Anyway, time to stop fluffing around and get them off. I reckon it's coming off, isn't it? If you give it a bit more of a tap or a pull or a wiggle. I reckon the two-handed wiggle's usually what works the best. I reckon get rid of the hammer. 2 hands, you get the best grip you can with your fingers in the inside of the ventilation at one side. Wiggle and pull, wiggle and pull. And if that doesn't come off, I've never done Proto 120 rear brakes before. Shoes are holding it a little bit, but just gently, slowly, shouldn't need to pull too hard. And eventually, because it's just rust on the inside lip, and you're just sort of wearing, that lip's wearing off. But yeah, if you don't want to fluff around like this, you know what, let's push it on, let's go to the hole, let's go to plan B. Even though we could get it off, this one has been a little bit more difficult than I'd expect, so let's just give it a tap on, whether it's, you know, there's not going to be much time to get it back on, see, bang. There's not much resistance there, right? So now what we're going to do, we're going to spin it around and get that hole there, and this is good, we've got the light here so we can see, get it right directly to the bottom, please mate, so it would have been easy to go the other way, it was closer. Has to go clockwise mate, has to go clockwise now. Alright, keep it coming, we're going to look in this hole here. This is going to be a really good video, right? This is going to be awesome. We keep going until we see that little adjuster somewhere. That's a spring for the handbrake. Oh, see that little wheel there? How good is this video? If people don't watch this till the end, they are missing out, mate. Okay, so let's get the flat blade in there and flick that. I'm going to get back a little bit so you can get a flat blade in there. Right, people can see what's going on. Oh, look at this. How good is this video? I'm getting good at this stuff, yeah? Just do up, down, whichever way. If it feels hard, it's the wrong way. If it's easy, so give it a few flicks, about 5, right? So just try and turn the wheel. That's it, like that, just go like that. That's the right way, I can feel it without even touching it. So like that a few turns, that'll do, leave it at that, dump the screwdriver. Now grab the rotor with 2 hands, fingers in each side of the ventilation to get a grip and wiggle and pull. And it might come off easier than last time. If it's harder, no, we've gone the wrong way. So push it back in if you need to or whatever. Must be I thought it was the right way. Which way were you going? Now you got to remember which way you went. Right, so it's a matter of, if you get to the end and it won't go anymore, you know you've gone the wrong way. I'm good at this guys, but remember it's not my hands, DIY style here, so that's it. Oh yeah baby, I reckon it's getting close. We're past where we started, a little couple more. Alright, let's try that. Let's try it. That's the one, baby! Let's just have a quick look inside there, a bit of dust and whatever. So what it's getting caught on, guys, see you got the shoes here, it's just that inside edge there. There's not much there, and that's why with a bit of wiggling and tapping, there's not a big lip there, and there never, I shouldn't say never, but there never is. Look, I can't even catch my fingernail on there, right? So it's just basically that lip getting caught on the back of the shoes there. You know, they would have come off, right? I sort of want to demonstrate both ways. So I hope I demonstrated that the rust freed up pretty easily. This you clean it up with a wire brush, spray with your cleaning product. This you can wash with water or not. Your adjuster, let's have a quick look. We're showing you other videos. There she is there, right? This one's nearly on stock adjustment. It's nearly backed all the way off, right? Best way to adjust them, in my opinion, is put the rotor on. You can go all the way and then just back it off a couple of clicks. You don't want it dragging, so I'd rather feel a bit of play there, because once you go off-road, dirt, dust and whatever gets between these shoes and the inside of the rotor and wears the shoes down. So you don't want to have them too tight. You want to have them just right. So it's a bit of a hard one to explain, because people would disagree anyway. Some people want them tighter, some people want them looser, some whatever, but you work it out for yourself. That's the adjustment there. The way I do it is put it on. I have a feel for it. I just grab the rotor and give it a wiggle, and I just want to be able to get a little bit of wiggle, not much. If there's too much wiggle, you need to tighten up. If you pull the handbrake through the roof, no good. It should be about, 6 clicks, 7 clicks, 8. I'm okay with 7 or 8, because like I said, I want a bit of extra clearance there. You've also got your cable adjustment in the car, but this video is done. We just showed you it was more about repairing that caliper. We're going to clean up that slide, whatever, and how to get the calipers off when you've got to take the whole rotor off, which I think we might have not really done this before. So bit of good information there, telling you about how we're going to clean it. This is, in case you wonder what a wire brush is, this is what a wire brush looks like, one that's been really well used. You get in there and give it a good whatever, right? That's what we're going to do. And a bit of spray and cleaner so we're happy, whatever. Bit of an inspection. That's pretty well like new, the amount of meat on those. So the backing plate, it's around about 2 to 3 times the thickness. I haven't got a measurement. It's about 5 mil, right? These look like bloody new. They've never been worn. Why? Remember, never been off-road. So it hasn't been off-road, hasn't had all the mud, dirt and dust that gets in there and acts like sandpaper wearing these down. Anyway, guys, that's it. Please give us the thumbs up if you got something out of that. What else? I don't know what else. There's nothing I can show you. It all finished, but you've seen the other 3 anyway. If you haven't already, please subscribe, turn the bell on. We've got other videos on this as well. Check our playlist. I'll add this one into the, I think it's called rear axle or rear brake shoes. There's a bit of information there. Often I've got people helping out, even owners and that. We have a bit of a muck around, have a bit of a laugh. And I'm not trying too hard to make it look easy all the time. So yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you. And I just thought before we wrap this one up, we better show you it's all good, right? Didn't take too much cleaning and lubrication. You can see the new pads in there, the new rotors, everything's all bolted up. If you can please give that a grab, mate, just show everyone it's moving freely. On the slides, just the way it was before. Obviously, once we pump up the brakes, the piston comes out and it brings it all into position, so it's not going to flop around like that all the time, but it needs to be able to easily move freely by hand like that, and it needs to stay like that. Anyway guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, turn the bell on, and we've got some more information coming your way. One piece of the million-piece jigsaw puzzle. Keep watching. See ya.